Hey guys, this is Amy, and I am your teacher for Online Forensic Science, Spring 2023. I'm sitting here in my incredibly cluttered office the Friday before classes start, drinking Bang Energy, which is the only thing pretty much keeping me alive at this point. And yeah, I'm going to go through the syllabus in this video and tell you kind of about my philosophy for class and go through some of the policies. So, just try to clarify the syllabus for you. Okay, let's do it. Okay, excuse my video skills. I am a boomer. All right, but I'm going to try to zoom in on this. So yeah, this is the one for the 300 section. 301, you guys are exactly the same, except your, section numbers change, but everything else is the same. So I'm going to keep the video consistent. Okay, so first thing, the first thing you read in the syllabus might have you thinking that I am a huge narcissist about my title. No, you know what? It has to do with kind of my hatred for misogyny. Because here's what I found, okay? And women, in the class pay attention to this especially. So, like, for example, my office mate and I both have PhDs, but he's a male and I'm a female. And so, like, when, say, a book rep comes to the office to pay us a visit, they'll say, oh, hi, Dr. Henniger. Oh, hi, Miss Clancy. Okay, and at 58 years of age, I've just got to the point where it makes me really mad. Okay, so I'm going to ask if you use a title, please use the correct one, which is doctor or professor. I do have some international students that, like, for them, it's incredibly disrespectful to call a teacher by their first name. So they use one of those titles. But the good news is you don't have to call me by any title because I like to be on a first name basis with students. So just call me Amy, or, whatever you want to call me, Snackalicious, big booty. I don't care, whatever. Call me whatever you want. Just don't call me Miss or Mrs. or Ms. Bleh. It just makes my skin crawl. Okay, but it has to do with, the misogyny of the situation. Okay, so that's where that comes from. I swear to God, I'm not a narcissist. Okay, next thing, how do you get a hold of me? Okay, well, obviously this is an online class, so you don't ever have to come to office hours. However, I do hold in-person office hours. So there's my location at Kirkwood. For you guys, what that means is that those are the times that I'm guaranteed to have my email open, to have the Remind texting program open. So you're going to be able to contact me definitely between those times. I will point out that the office phone up here, the 398-5664 number, that is, I found the phone system here to be pretty antiquated, meaning that you may leave a voicemail for me and then I get it like 2 days later. So I think the office phone is the worst place or, way to contact me. Probably best is Remind because I'm going to get that text message right away. And otherwise email. So, but these are the times that I'm guaranteed to be in my office. Okay, so obviously this is a completely online class. Here are the learning outcomes. Okay, let's get to some of the policy stuff. Okay, so first of all, you've noticed there is no textbook for the class. Sorry, I'm going to try to straighten this a little bit. So the reason for that is every time I look into buying a textbook, it seems that by the time I actually incorporate it, it's already kind of old because I like to refer to cases that are currently in the news and then, just kind of switch up my PowerPoints, which give you all of the useful forensic information. So that's what I tend to do, and it saves you a little money because you don't have to buy a textbook. So yeah, basically everything is in the very detailed PowerPoints that I provide for you on Talent. Okay, let's talk about quizzes and exams. Okay, so there's a bunch of quizzes in the class, and usually they're about 10 questions in length, multiple choice or true false. And I don't accept makeup requests for quizzes, okay? So no makeups for quizzes unless it fits into one of the excused absence types. And the reason for that is I give you basically a 16-hour window to take that quiz. I normally open them up at 8 a.m. and then you have until 11:59 p.m. to take them. And students tell me that they normally take them, it's no more than 5 to 10 minutes. So finding a 5 to 10 minute time frame within 16 hours, I think is very doable, even if you work that day. So yeah, take the quizzes on the day that they are assigned. Okay. The other thing I can't suggest this strongly enough, please try to take quizzes and exams as early in the day as possible, in case you have Wi-Fi problems or there is a problem with the Respondus software. And so you have to call the Kirkwood help desk and, they're not open past, I believe it's 4 p.m. So you want to be able to correct those early in the day, okay? So don't wait until 11:50 p.m. to take your quiz or exam, because if you have a Wi-Fi issue, that is not a reason for a makeup, okay? Take it as early in the day as possible. So same thing for assignments. You're going to have at least 1 week to 10 days to submit assignments. So, it's not like I'm going to make something due the next day. So one skill that I really want to push for you to learn in this class is time management, knowing when assignments are, knowing when quizzes are. And I will send you text reminders. I'll send talent announcements every week so you know the schedule coming up. But please learn to note those dates and make sure that you get the work turned in and the quizzes and the exams taken when they are scheduled. Okay. Now, when we get to exams, a missed exam can be made up with no penalty, and you have a week to make it up if it is one of the excused absences, okay, like a family emergency, okay? If it's just, oh, I forgot about the exam, you can still make it up within a week, but it's going to be a 20% deduction in points, okay? And it's basically a way to reward the people who are taking the exam when they're supposed to take the exam. If you do run into a situation where you need to make up an exam, then, simply, contact me and we'll coordinate that one-on-one, okay? So here are things that don't work as excuses. I just forgot, okay, or waiting until the last minute, or having Wi-Fi, poop out because you waited until the last minute. So you'll always get reminders from me, and please try to take them as early in the day as possible. Okay, so next in the syllabus, here are some excused absences. Obviously, if it's a Kirkwood-sponsored activity, medical illness of yourself or family member, and you have documentation. And notice up here, family includes partners, spouses, children, and parents. Okay, so that's what I consider family. If you have mandatory, National Guard duty, if you're going to a college visit and you have an email, that says, hey, I'm visiting Iowa State on this day. Okay, obviously that is. And then if you have mandatory job training. So the key is having documentation for all of this. So, under unexcused, yeah, poor Wi-Fi, because if you take it early enough in the day, you can get to another source of Wi-Fi. Taking vacation, okay, which I actually talk about. So taking vacation during the semester when it's not spring break, basically, that's not an excuse for me to open up things early. You can certainly submit assignments early, but if it's completing an exam or a quiz, vacation is not a reason for me to change those dates. So take your laptop with you so you can do it. Okay, one thing, because this has come up as an issue, so high school students, okay, who are in concurrent enrollment, a couple of things. Remember, if you are taking this course, you are considered a college student, and you are expected to follow the policies and perform at the same level as a college level student. So that means that you have to follow the exact same policies, okay? So read the syllabus carefully. If you need clarification on anything, please contact me. Also know that we are discussing really mature topics, and I discuss them very matter-of-factly, especially when we talk about death investigation or, since I worked in the DNA unit, all of my cases were either sexual assaults or homicides. And yeah, I'm very matter-of-fact about them, and I deal with them on a mature adult level, and that's the reality of forensic science. Okay, so yeah, you're going to hear some yucky stuff, and it's not like it is on TV. Okay, that is kind of the reality, so just realize that. Okay, so the next thing is, and one of the things I'm going to have you do first in the class is setting up the Respondus lockdown browser. I got to tell you, I am not crazy about using this, but it's basically all I have if I want to have monitored exams with an online class. It creeps me out a little bit because, you have to have a webcam and to be able to install the software and have it work. And you will need it by the time you take your first quiz, just FYI. But I feel like I'm spying on you, and it gives me the creeps a little. I don't like that, but it's all we have. Okay, so I will do a little introductory video about that too under the module that is called Lockdown Browser, so you can watch that. I'll talk about it a little more in detail. Okay, but realize that your exams are monitored. The other thing I've been asked is that how many retakes do you get on an exam? The answer to that is none. Okay, you have one chance to take a quiz, one chance to take the exam. So we don't do, multiple retakes of exams. Just realize that. Okay, when you submit assignments, and I will also create a video that talks about how to do that, they need to be submitted through the Talon Dropbox for that assignment, and they need to be submitted prior to the deadline. Okay, so don't send them to me by email after the deadline. They're not going to be graded. They'll be given a 0. Okay, the other thing I ask is that they all be typed. So don't send me a handwritten assignment where you just took pictures of it and then converted it into a PDF. Don't do that, please. Type your assignments. That way I don't have to worry about, deciphering students' handwriting. Okay, so we're going to go through this, blah, 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 blah. And just so you know, guys, the reason I run the class like I do is because I know some students come into taking online classes and they want all of the assignments open and they want to submit them at any time. And that works awesome for students that are really driven in terms of doing, they're self-motivated. But what I found is a lot of students aren't. Simply because real life interferes, and people procrastinate. I mean, that's just reality. I do it myself, so I get it. But what usually happens is I have a lot of students that wait to do all of the assignments until the very end of the semester, and a lot of times they end up failing. Their assignments are of poor quality, and then that's just a waste of time for the student, and they end up getting a bad grade and, maybe having to drop at the very end. So yeah, I push you in terms of deadlines, but it's because I want you to successfully complete the class and not have a ton of assignments waiting for you when finals roll around, okay? And the weather's starting to get nice. No one feels like doing work when that happens. Okay, speaking of weather, actually this is online. Hey, we don't have to worry about it. Never mind. If you are taking classes, some classes on campus, definitely sign up for the Kirkwood alerts, because then you will get, the notifications. Okay, so here are some important dates. If you decide, I don't want to take this class, you can withdraw by January 30th and get a refund. The last date to drop the class is April 28th. And the final exam for this class is scheduled for Friday, May 5th. And as usual, it will be open from 8 a.m. until 11:59 p.m. And, that will become just standard for you as you go through taking the course. Okay, so here are some of the topics that I like to go through. So yeah, we have to do the introductory stuff first. That's just kind of the way it is. We'll get through the basics, and then we can get to the cooler stuff. Okay, so we'll talk about basic history and the definition, some basic terms having to do with forensic science, talking about the scientific method, hypothesis testing, and then we get into the actual disciplines. Okay, so we'll go through serology, DNA, blood stain pattern analysis, which is known as blood spatter, anthropology, entomology, odontology, which is basically bones, bugs, and teeth. Hopefully we'll be able to fit in some chemistry and toxicology, and then death investigation, which is one of my specialty areas. And then we usually finish up the semester talking about serial homicide and pattern cases, simply because that is where forensic science and specifically DNA is very, very useful. Any of you have been following the Idaho quadruple homicides, we certainly know that is the case there. So yeah, that is especially applicable to forensic science and specifically DNA. Okay, so that is the syllabus.